Happy Thursday, FlowChat Connector. Sean back at you here with another high-ticket tune-up. In this FlowChat Sales Training, we're going to talk about 6 things you need to have charisma in sales. Sup, you beautiful FlowChat Connector. Sean back at you here with another high-ticket tune-up. And don't forget to smash that like button and feed the algorithm gods so we can get this out to more people that actually need it. And please hit subscribe to the channel. Love you being here. Thank you so much for being here today. Today, we got a great question talking about charisma. And I think charisma is something that's really valuable and everybody needs it. And so one of the first biggest misconceptions that I had was it was something that people naturally had. So the question came in from Paul, and Paul asked this. He said, Sean, people talk about having charisma. Is it something that can be learned, or is it natural? Is it a natural thing for people? And when I first learned about charisma, I was like, ooh, this word charisma, that's interesting. And then there was examples of, I was shown examples of people where I was in sales organizations, like, that guy's got charisma, and that guy's got charisma, and that guy's got charisma. And I thought to myself, like, man, why does that person, why is he considered to have charisma? As I continued my search and going down this path of what is charisma and how does it work, one of the things I learned is, like, each of these people that I was pointed out to during my upbringing in the sales game about charisma, each of these people would exhibit this one out of these 6 traits that we kind of found that truly hit it on the head. So they had like one of these things that was above and beyond everybody else, and that's what people immediately thought was charisma. And so these were people getting pointed out to me. It wasn't me just saying, ooh, I think that person has charisma. It was a cumulative group of people. Like, I was in the sales organization that had 350 sales reps, and there was always these like 10 guys that were always known to win all the awards and have all their charisma and all this other stuff. And so I started studying these guys, and I did for a long period of time. And here's really the breakdown of the science behind charisma. And I think it's something that can be learned. In fact, I know it's something that can be learned because it's not hard. And you already know all the attributes, but here are 6 things you need to have in order to have charisma in sales. So first and foremost, as I mentioned, most people believe you have it or you don't have it when talking about charisma, but there's actually 6 attributes, and there's only 6 that can be learned to grow your charisma. So the first one is similarity. We've all heard this. People buy from people they like and that are like them and that they trust, right? And these are the common traits or beliefs you share with your audience. This is why when most sales conversations start, people walk in there and they say, oh, that's a cool bowling trophy. I'm a bowler too. All of a sudden now you have similarity, and that instantly boosts your credibility. This is why people say, try to relate to something that the other person has, because you want to get to that level of similarity. And it doesn't have to be a hobby or a passion. Typically, that's a great connector for creating similarity, but it could also be hungry about business growth or into naturopathic remedies or something of this sort, right? Because people buy from people they like. Great example is if, this weekend I got a chance to go to a cat show. And at the cat show, I thought to myself, if I was selling to people with cats, what would I look for? Well, if I saw somebody wearing an awesome cat shirt, man, that's going to be a pretty easy conversation to strike up about something we have similar, right? We love cats. So that's the first thing. So just finding something of similarity between you and the person that you're speaking with or selling to is definitely the first step towards gaining great charisma. The second one is this: expression. Express yourself. This is what you communicate through your words, your tone of voice, and your body language. Again, this kind of flows into the NLP stuff that I just actually had a full series on. And if you haven't seen the body language series on the channel here, make sure and go watch that, because that's what this particular bucket of charisma is here's all the body language that you need. This is how you talk, how you say the things you say, the tonality that you use, the speed, the pace, the volume, the pitch, and the way that you portray or you throw your body into a conversation that you're having, right? So expression is something can be learned. It's not just absorbed and done, right? Now, people that have charisma somewhat naturally, that it came from with an expression is watching someone else growing up in a family of someone who had charisma or had this expression gift, right? So again, study the body language stuff here. You're going to be just fine. Listen to that series on the channel. Next one is creativity. Okay, so the imagination you use to deliver many aha moments that help your prospects grasp what you say with less cognitive effort. The secret here is to use similarity or similar stories or acronyms, or Russell Brunson coins it as the kind of like bridge. If you can creatively come up with a very easy analogy, I think is the word I'm looking for here, that can relate a point to a simple story that they can be wearing. Like yesterday, I was having a conversation with one of our clients, and he was having a little bit of trouble with a partnership that he was in. And we got to the end of the conversation, and we both kind of decided that there needed to be a parting of the seas between him and his business partner. And it's a tough conversation to have. And as I was having this conversation with him, I thought, man, how can I creatively share this with him that's going to make some sense? And in the conversation, here's what I said. I said, hey, prospect name. Of course, I'm not going to share his name. I said, it's kind of like, and there's that kind of like bridge. It's kind of like you're walking through a park or a field or even through a city with a backpack full of bricks. You should just drop the backpack full of bricks and you'll be able to walk or run or even fly through the rest of your stitching area. So that was a creative way because at the end he goes, oh my gosh, I've even used that analogy once before. I needed to hear that. Thank you so much. And that is a little bit of creative juice in using analogies. So when you want more creativity in your world, try to make a point in a sales conversation, try to figure out an easy analogy that you can use that will help, right? Next one is passion. Passion's important. The love and enthusiasm you display for your topic or expertise. And everybody's job can sometimes be draining, right? I love sales. I love prospecting. I love the conversations, and I'm always saying that and talking that, right? And so sometimes I get tired and I don't want to talk about that stuff, but 95% of the time I'm like, yes, let's talk about this. Let's get into this. And if you don't feel yourself being convicted about your calling or your passion, then we need to do something to resell yourself on why you got into there in the first place. So if you've ever gone down Dean Graziosi's like the 7 questions of why, you should go look that up. You can find Dean Graziosi anywhere. That's how you're going to develop passion for what you do, right? And the whole theory behind this is ask yourself, hey, why do you do what you do? Why is that important? Why is that the next thing? Why, all the way down to about 7 times. And what you'll find is you get to the core of why you truly love to do something. It's a really hard exercise to do, but I encourage you to do it because when you get to the bottom and you find that last why, you're gonna be like, ooh, I'm so passionate about this. Or you're gonna know you're not passionate about it. You know, you can make a change. So passion is number 4 in having charisma, right? Number 5, fearlessness, right? Be willing to walk into the unknown. This is the confidence you exude when you're not attached to the outcome. When I first started my selling career and I had no dollars in my bank account, one of my coaches told me, act like you have $10 million in your bank account and you don't need the next deal. When you can unattach yourself to the result of getting cash flow from closing a deal, you can speak at a much higher level and you're not concerned whether or not you're going to get that deal or not. Now, this is hard to do, but it's easy in theory. And so what we need to stay focused on again is having confidence to that when you're not, and don't be attached to the outcome. Hey, like, yeah, you're a dev bringer for what I do. I get that. But at the same time, I don't know if you're the best fit for what I do. So let's talk about that. And having that conversation in a sales way, that will put the prospect in a place where they're like, this dude doesn't care if I work with him or not. And I know he has a solution. I really want to work with him. And it creates this within the prospect saying, wow, like this guy really knows his stuff. Otherwise he wouldn't be kind of like brushing me off. And that's the prospect, what we want to instill in the prospect, because if they feel that, they're like, man, I don't have any leverage in this conversation and this is the right thing that I need. And that's how you generate more charisma. Lastly, but not least, we'll move on to number 6 is having integrity. This is the evidence that creates solid trust with your audience. Always for good, never for evil. Don't try to persuade or convince into something that someone doesn't need. That's why I say when we talk about selling conversations, the most important thing we can focus on is, does your prospect have the problem that you actually solve? And let's dissect that. And when you could do that, you can either quickly decide as a sales pro whether or not you should continue the conversation, but number 2, whether you should actually close them into the thing that you're wanting to close them into. Because sales, when you get good at it, you can manipulate people for good or for bad. And I always say, if you're learning any stuff from me, we have an agreement, a gentleman's agreement or a gentle lady's agreement that says you'll only use this for good, never for evil. Because when you learn this stuff, you can go down the dark path. Look at the Wolf of Wall Street. He went to jail for conning people out of $400 million because he was good at this stuff. And so that's what I'm saying. So we want to have integrity and we want to be that pillar of righteous moral fiber that says, hey, listen, like you are a fit or you're not a fit. Either way, right? And so here's a quick summary. Charisma, a charming charisma equals a combination of these 6 things. And now you can, as I mentioned, have just one of these things and be over the moon about this stuff, and you will have great charisma. However, if you can start to commingle 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even all 6 of these things into your game. And look, I've been studying this stuff for almost 30 years, and I feel like I don't even have all 6 of these things. So it's not like an overnight thing where you can quickly develop charisma. Start with one, right? I would say start with the expression one, because that one's the easiest to learn. I have a full series on how to win at that one. And if you get just that one right, people will immediately start feeling like and thinking and saying, man, that person's got a lot of charisma. And if they're not saying it, they're thinking it. So with that said, you've just been tuned up. I hope this one was powerful for you. I know it was. It helped me a tremendous amount when I went through this. And I'm really grateful that there we go. See, Bryce, Bryce says, charisma like success leaves clues. Death can be learned. Love this, brother. Someone said, love that. That's awesome. And of course, charming charisma is the key. Yes, as it is, 100%. So if you want great charisma, do these 6 things in your sales conversations, and you are going to win at the highest level. With that said, you've just been tuned up. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, love your faces, and go sell something. Thursday's the best day to close deals, statistically proven, and that's today. So you're thebomb.com. I love your face. Thanks for being here, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.